Yo, 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 this is Mr. Movie About 5000. This is my review of the new movie Warrior, which is a great, great movie. Fantastic, actually. Probably one of the best movies I've seen this year so far. It was just, I'm somewhat of an MMA fan, Ultimate Fighting. I watch it from time to time. I don't hate it. I like it. Just at times, I'm not one of those diehard fans who watches it over and over again every single pay-per-view. And I don't follow the fighters or anything, but I like watching it from time to time and whatever. But definitely, this movie is making me a bit of a fan because first of all, the fighting scenes in this film were very good. Of course, I'm not really an expert to be saying so, but still, very good fight scenes, very intense. Even though it was even though you knew who was going to be in the final match, because the trailer gave it away, you still were still intense, and you still felt that it felt intense in each match, and that was something that was very well done. Not only were the fight scenes very well done, but the performances were amazing. Joel Edgerton stars in this movie. You may remember him. He has supporting roles. He was in a couple the shitty prequels to Star Wars. But he's probably his best role that I've seen personally was Animal Kingdom, the fantastic Australian movie. That got Jackie Weaver her Oscar nomination. And he's good in this too. He rocks the American accent. At times you can hear the Australian coming out, but blame him for that. That would be hard to do as an actor, but whatever. He's still very, very good. Tom Hardy is in this is in this also. He plays Joel Edgerton's character Brendan's brother Tommy. And Tom Hardy is fantastic in this movie. Everyone knows him from Inception, and everyone knows that he's going to be playing Bane in Dark Knight Rises, which is coming out next year, which I can't wait for. A, because I'm a Batman fan, and B, because I was a Batman Dark Knight fan, and B, because Tom Hardy's in it. Yeah, I'm a fan. But he's very good in this as well. This is I'd say this is his first major Hollywood starring role. He's starred in independent films and whatnot, but this is probably the biggest movie that he's been in that he's starring in, and he does a fantastic job here. He's a British guy, he also does the American accent, and he's very good at it, and he's just amazing. Nick Nolte is in this as well. Nick Nolte, of course, a legendary actor, who's in Cape Fear, 48 Hours, Prince of Tides. He plays their father. Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton, Brendan and Tommy are brothers. He plays their father, Paddy, and Nick Nolte is fucking amazing. He's so good in this. He plays one of the toughest roles to play. I'm not saying the toughest. One of the toughest roles to play. A ex-alcoholic who's sobered up, who is begging his children, who he's abused, for their forgiveness. Because not a lot of people can relate to that, and Nick Nolte is very good. You feel bad for him. You feel bad that even though he's done a notorious thing, which is unforgivable, you still feel remorse for him, and you hope that he gets their forgiveness in this. And Nick Nolte is just amazing in this. I think he deserves an Oscar nomination for sure for Best Supporting Actor. He's just fantastic. Like I said, Brendan and Tommy Conlon are brothers. Both separated when they were teenagers. Because Tommy went with his mother, who finally left their abusive father, Paddy, and Brendan stayed with Paddy, thinking that, maybe it'll get better, like most people, most children will think because they're confused, like even women think that too, that things might get better, and unfortunately they didn't really for Brendan. But hey, Brendan, the ironic thing is that Brendan got I wouldn't say the better life, but got the more normal life than Tommy did, who left. Ben, has a family. He has a wife, 2 beautiful daughters. He's a physics teacher, high school physics teacher, and unfortunately, he's lost some money. He's gonna lose his house, and his daughter is sick, so he lost the money from there, and he needs to make some bank. So he decides to get back in the Ultimate Fighting, the MMA ring. He used to be a fighter, but he got a couple bad injuries, so he decided to stop and become a teacher, whatever. And this was the only problem I had with the movie, was the fact that was the cliche of the family man doing something that no one ever thought he would do again or even do. get money for his family, and that was the only problem I had. Cliched a bit, but who cares? To be honest, I was in this movie. I was into this movie all the way, so I didn't really care. Tom Hardy, of course, plays Tommy, the brother who left. He is an Iraq War veteran who left under mysterious circumstances. I won't get into any more of that because I will ruin the movie, which I don't want you to do because I'm hoping you're planning to go see it right now after this review. So he returns home and he goes to his father almost right away, and he's pretty much, he hasn't forgiven him at all. He's pretty much using him to train him so he can get back to fighting MMA, so he can make some money for his best friend who was in the army with him, or his widow, so both the brothers need money, and they both enter the tournament, this world tournament, Sparta, which is in Atlantic City. Brendan gets an old friend of his, Frank, to train him, who's one of the best trainers in the world, and Tommy gets his father to train him too. So the first half of the movie, let's say, is pretty much explaining the characters, why they're getting back into fighting, who they are, and then a brief training montage, which I was kind of happy they didn't do a longer one because, it gets a bit cliche, but the training montage was very well done. It was very cool. Different slides showing up of them training, and that was cool, and whatever, but that was very, 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 the first half I was already into it, I was already liking it. I was thinking, this is a very emotional movie, a nice family drama, this is really good. And the second half is the whole tournament, and I just was blown away by how cool the fight scenes were, and even the performances were still very good. What I really liked about this was the fact that Brendan and Tommy, they're not shown together on screen till probably the second half of the movie, where they see each other at the tournament. They didn't even know they were both going to be there, and they have a really great scene on a beach where they see each other for the first time in like 14 years, and it was a great acting scene by the both of them. I liked that scene a lot. So then the whole tournament goes well. Brendan is the underdog because he's the physics teacher. He's a bit older than all the other guys, and so he's the underdog. Nobody believes in him. Tommy's the mysterious guy who everyone finds out. The whole fan base finds out that he saved a bunch of soldiers when he was at the war, and he mysteriously disappeared. So he's the hero of this tournament. Everyone loves him because he's a war hero, and he's mysterious as well, like I said, because in his first fight, all he does is pretty much punch the guy and walks out of the ring, which I thought was so badass and so cool, and that was pretty much most of his fights. It was quick fights, and just get out of there. Fuck out, right? And Brendan's fight, both Tommy and Brendan have different styles. Tommy's hard on it, get it done quickly. Brendan takes his time, waits, and then strikes, and that was really cool to see how different they are in that perspective. And so I won't get into any more because I started ruining stuff about the tournament, but the trailer kind of gave it away. I still, if you haven't seen the trailer, I won't say anything, so fine. Some cameos in this, was Brian Callen playing himself. I pretty much remember him only from Entourage, and he had a guest cameo in Entourage where he played one of Eddie Booth's workers, who everyone saw down and I flipped out at him. And he plays one of the ring announcers. I don't know if he has anything to do with UFC or anything with the inside joke about that, because I'm sorry, I don't watch that much UFC. And Kurt Angle was in this. When we first see Kurt Angle come out of the limo, I thought it was Raincoat 2, because it's kind of quick, like, little flash, and then gone, right? So I'm like, oh, Raincoat 2 is in this. And then it got closer to his face as he was going to the fight against Brendan. He plays this Russian fighter, I forget the name, I'm sorry, who is apparently unstoppable, the best in the world, nobody can beat him, and Brendan faces him, and that starts getting close-ups to his face, I'm like, okay, that's not really good too, but fuck, that guy's familiar. And then I'm like to my friend, maybe it's Kurt Angle from WWE, and DNA, he's like, and my friend's like, fuck off, it's not Kurt Angle. And then we look at the credits, and turns out it was, so my friend told us so, whatever. But yeah, anyway, so it's cool good secret angle. He has no speaking, means I guess he couldn't do Russian accent. But yeah, he's not speaking, he's just doing the fighting. Which I don't know the problem, to be honest. I don't really care about that. But yeah. So that's pretty much my review of Warrior. Like I said, fantastic movie. Please go see it. If you're a fan of mixed martial arts or not, you're gonna love this movie because it's a nice family drama as well. It's kind of like The Fighter in Rocky in a way. More Rocky to me, and like there are similarities it has to The Fighter. There's two brothers, and they both happen to fight, like be fighters. So it's more like Rocky. The fact that guys from nothing coming up and doing something nobody ever expected them to do. And the final fight scenes is kind of similar to Rocky. It's how people are getting into it, and also getting into underdog status, like Rocky had. And I don't want to see a Warrior 6 here, okay, but it's a lot like Rocky in many ways to me. But still, fantastic movie. I definitely recommend to see it. Like I said, whether you're an MMA fan or not, please go see this movie. The performances are amazing. Joe Edgerton, Tom Hardy, Nick Nolte, the three main are great. The guy who plays Frank, Roman's trainer, is very good too. I haven't seen him much. I'd like to see more of him. But still, the three main are the best. Tom Hardy and Nick Nolte in particular. Joe Edgerton is great, but still, Tom Hardy and Nick Nolte, they won all up, especially Nick Nolte. But I appreciate the effort, but I can't wait to see more. Tom Hardy, you're gonna kick ass in the Batman, I'm sure. Even if it's not better than the Dark Knight, you still are. And Nick Nolte, you got a long career. Hopefully, you get an Oscar nomination. I know you've had one before, but hopefully, finally, you get the Oscar. You deserve it, my friend. That's my review of Warrior. I loved it. Please go see it. It's a great movie. Great fun. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you go see Warrior. Thank you very much.